Really? Let's see here. Okay, thank you all for tuning in to the Shakaama Live Computer Fundraiser Weekend. This live stream, which has 0 people watching right now, is talking about finance of millennial women. So we're looking at the financials of the millennial women and what everything from their salaries, any debt that they have, any future potential earnings, and we're looking towards the future of millennial women and what their earnings could could be. Now, I just looked at a article by Forbes. Now, Forbes magazine online is predicting that millennial women will have the absolute best financials ever in the history of the world. And but let me inform you that for every stat that you look at, you can put a spin on it to make it look the complete opposite of the very last person that spoke about the very same thing. So, how is it that Forbes is saying that millennial women have the brightest financial future ever in the history of women? While, in the meanwhile, everyone else is saying that millennial women have a disastrous financial future. Here's the problem. What Forbes is saying doesn't counter what everybody else is saying. So Forbes is saying millennial women will have the best uh, economic outcome in the history of womankind, right? The problem is the financial standing of womankind today does, in fact, outstrip the financial outcome or the economic outcome of women from the past. So now we have women with more women have college degrees than ever before in the history of the country. Uh, and if you want to compare it to other countries, the history of the world, I guess. So their earning potential is there. However, how did they reach this point? And this is what Forbes is ignoring. So Forbes is talking about women having earning potential that is way up there. And compared to the actual earnings that women in the past actually made, the earning potential is better than what women made before. But they're ignoring how they got there. What am I talking about? Student loans. So, women of today have this earning potential because they have these degrees, but they got there through massive student loans. College is more expensive today than it has ever been in the history of the United States. Because just by definition, college gets more and more and more expensive as the years go on. What's the problem? Well, when you take a realistic look at the earning potential, you have to look at what did these women, who are now a majority of the students in universities, what did they actually get degrees in? If you just say they get more degrees than men, and you can then say that based on that fact alone, millennial women have more earning potential than men, which is what Forbes said. But the fact is that when you actually look at the specifics, you see that millennial women actually get degrees that range from zero earning potential on up. So you can have a very large segment of the population of the millennial women who go to universities come out making zero to almost nothing in the future because nobody is hiring in those fields or in that market, and there's no possible way that the millennial women could actually capitalize on their uh, degrees. Uh, can I get everybody to say hello to me? Hello, how are you doing? I'm doing this recording because nobody was here, so I thought I'd record something very interesting. But if this is a live stream, which means you all are supposed to participate. Hello, how you doing? Uh, so, uh, so we have actual statisticians and mathematicians, which were claiming not to be statisticians, but however, math sort of automatically leads into statistics, come out and say that certain degrees have zero potential earnings. So the women go to college and they get a gender studies degree or some sort of racial history degree or racial study degree. All of these studies. So they get these degrees. I didn't know they actually offered them as degrees. I haven't been in college for a long time, so I didn't know this did not exist. When I went to college, this didn't exist. I think this is in the last 10 years, right? So this is not something that existed more than 10 years ago, right? Uh, even you said marketing. Uh, they said architecture has a potential to make zero money. Why? Because it is the most populated uh, market by people who take that major. I don't know why. So, the marketing industry has a backlog of 100 times as many people who could be architects, right? And even the offshoots of architecture, like maybe some sort of architectural engineering or architectural art or architectural planning or city plan, something like that. They have literally 100 people for every job uh, that there actually exists. So literally, people get an architectural degree, a degree in architecture, and never ever get a job in architecture because there's so many people in it. Now, if that's the case, then same thing with psychology, right? If that's the case, then so architecture. I don't think anybody would say that getting a degree in architecture is bad unless we look at the market. But the degree itself, there's nothing wrong with having a degree itself because it is an actual degree in something. When you start looking at these studies degrees, most people will say that they are they have zero value of intrinsically. At the very base, they have zero value. I think marketing is the same thing, right? Marketing as an actual degree is all but useless because there's so many people who get a degree in that. Versus the STEM degrees are literally still reaching out to get people to do it. Also, there are jobs and jobs and jobs and thousands of jobs in engineering that people refuse. They have the degree, but they refuse to go get them. Why? Because the engineering degree is located in North Dakota or located in. Give me a state that nobody wants to go to. In the middle of the country. In the middle of the country, in towns the population of 10,000. So there are companies literally hoping and praying that somebody will take the engineering position in located in these places that nobody wants to live in. Everybody wants to live in the hottest city in the hottest part of town, and they want to pay $10,000 a month to live in this section of town. I see it. I do a little bit of real estate investing, and I see it all the time. And the people come and they say, "Well, I want to pay, I want to pay $500,000 on a house." But I want to live in Soho or something like that. I'm just throwing out mythical places that are so expensive that $500,000 wouldn't get you anything. Then the realtor says, why don't we maybe you could live maybe 5 miles away from Soho? Oh no, I want to be in Soho. Well, I'm sorry to say, but $500,000 is not going to get you anything in Soho. Not that you could purchase. You might be able to rent for a year a place in Soho and have nothing to show for it, no equity or anything like that in a place like that. And it is the same thing. And I got off track there for a second. It is the same thing with the market value of the degree that you get. You can have a degree outside of STEM. There are a lot of degrees that women get, right? Women dominate the degrees outside of STEM degrees, outside of the College of Science altogether. Women dominate it. They dominate the College of Arts, that is the Bachelor of Arts that you get, and that's including English, history. I don't know if they get logic degrees or even philosophy. I think philosophy is another one that a lot of people get, and there's tons of people who get philosophy degrees because they want to be a philosopher. I and unfortunately, there's not a lot of calls for philosophers with an undergraduate degree in philosophy. So the financial market value of somebody with an art degree from a normal everyday state school is not in any sort of demand. So the earning potential of millennial women, uh, while you can say on one hand, if you spin it that way, they have the best earning potential in the history of womankind because they have lots of degrees. But when you start taking a look at the details, you then see that uh, a ton of them get these studies degrees, and then a ton of them get stuff like marketing, philosophy, architecture, where it's oversaturated on the market. Can I get some thumbs up, please? Uh, it's I have not seen anything on millennial men, but I'm going to think that millennial men are still sitting pretty, and I think millennial men are sitting even more pretty now because of the backlash of social politics that are going on. So, millennial women no longer see children as a viable option in their future, right? So, they realistically see children as a hindrance to their career and future earning potential. So, millennial women have a negative view of children, having children, right? And although there are a lot of books and talk shows and media that is trying to encourage millennial women to have children and have a career, rightly so, millennial women have a negative view of having children. Yeah, even even the most accommodating business that says we will keep the job open for you, the position open for you. The reality is that if you take off, let's say the company was just bent over backwards for the person. The reality is if the company held the position open for 2 years for the woman to have the child, go through the whole nursing and go through any sort of early early problems, and you could go ahead, take your time, get everything situated, get all of the medical stuff situated. The position is open for you. She has still taken 2 years off of her career, and that's for one child. Let's say she has the 2.3 children, so we'll say 3 children, so that's 6 years, and she doesn't bounce back as quickly on child 2 and child 3, and she doesn't have these children at peak physical condition, so she doesn't have the child at 22 or 24. She has a child at post 32, something like that. Something that's the norm now. So millennial women are having children later, if they have children. So there's a whole big number, and then a much smaller number of millennial women are actually having children. And of those women, a large portion of those women, not all the millennial women, of those women who have children, period, a very large portion have them over the age of 32. Now, uh, at the age of 32, having your first child, your genetic health is going to be less than stellar. So, you have potential of running into problems at the age of 32. By your third child, you're 40. You're going to have a child at 40. Then you start getting into uh, health problems and the reality of being a 40-year-old woman trying to have a child. And let's say you want that third child, because you wanted 3 children. Unfortunately, at the age of 40, you can run into some serious issues where it can be from impossible to just running the course of trying and trying and trying, and you don't have that child until you're 45. Now you're 45 having having a child. Hello, Miss Chibi. How are you doing? You're at 45 having a child. Uh, so then, this instance, this notion, then you come about saying, is it worth it to even have a child post more than one child? And once again, then you then start looking at the role of the father or husband or whatever you want to call him, versus the role of the mother as an employee and all that sort of stuff. So then Forbes saying millennial women are standing at the peak of having the best financial outcome out of all women over millennial men. You see that it is spin. You understand that it is spin. They're spinning the data to come out with this stuff, where everybody else is saying millennial women are uh, are headed for an economic disaster because they're getting because now universities are offering these degrees that have zero market value, and of the degrees that have uh, actual market value, let's say architecture, they're offering these degrees and not advising for any of the women getting these degrees to possibly slow down and maybe look at something else instead of going into architecture, which has 100 to 1 people out there with architectural degrees. So millennial women are standing on a staring at the abyss, and the abyss is staring back. Isn't that the saying? But millennial men are doing a-okay because they do not want to. Uh, even the ones who aren't involved in any sort of group or any sort of movement, men today are more aware of the financial risks of getting involved with a girlfriend leading up to wife. So that millennial men have a much more negative view of marriage, and that even doesn't even get into talking about children. So just the whole marriage part. So that millennial men are more than likely not going to get married. Uh, and that's shared. That view is shared by millennial women too. So millennials, period, have a very negative view of getting married. That they will not get married. So millennial dating is also down. Uh, and because millennial dating is down, and then the whole dynamics of millennial relationships is really strange. I guess I'm thankful that I'm not quite a millennial. If you go by the youngest definition, which is I think it was like 88 is where it started. Some start at 80 and some start at all the way up to 88. It's a weird gap. Some people say 82, some people say 84, some people say 85. I don't know who's correct. And I hear something different depending on the newspaper that I read. I hear something different every time, from the New York Post to the New York Times. Either way, I'm glad that my schools were normal, my university was normal, my postgraduate studies were normal, all of that. Everything was normal. Um, Now, let's talk about school loans. Suppose there's more money available today than ever before. We're going to have a talk about if you're going to go into school and get a degree and take out a school loan and not be a part of all this other money. When I say other money, I'm talking about a bunch of scholarships. There are books that you can buy that are full of scholarships, uh, of varying from $50 all the way to $10,000, because your middle name is Peter or John or something like that. Those books are actually available, and they're real. Uh, if you are going to go to school and get one of these degrees, and you have zero potential of making any money when you come out of school, then taking on the burden of taking out school loans is far more tragic than anything else. This is why during the Obama administration there was all of this talk about potentially forgiving student debt. Why forgive student debt if people are coming out making $200,000? Why forgive school debt if people are coming out making $160,000? You wouldn't. Everybody agree? Can I have everybody? Everybody agree with that? Sounds logical. Everybody agree? This is a part. This is an audience participation. For some of you, it might be late. For some people, it might be early or right. Some people might be right on time. But if everybody's coming out of college making $150,000, they wouldn't care about or ask for the government to potentially forgive their student loans. Why? Because they would be making goo gobs of money that would not need help from anybody, unless they were just terribly uh, financially financially bad and spent their money as soon as they got it. Make $150,000 a year, but lived paycheck from paycheck, which some people actually do. So during the Obama administration, they were asking for forgiveness for student debt. Why? Because people were going to college, getting these studies degrees, or they did not look at. So this is for anybody, even today, anybody listening to this speech, I guess. It's not supposed to be a speech. It's supposed to be a conversation. Everybody's supposed to participate with me. But I'll do a speech if you just want to sit here and listen. I would prefer that you say hi and stuff. Somebody just said hello, right? Hello, Dan. How you doing? Flaming Ninja. How you doing? There you go. And Miss Chibi is saying hello to everybody. That's nice. Thank you, Miss Chibi. I appreciate you. I wish I had 1,000 of you. So, during the Obama administration, they were saying they needed student debt forgiveness. And supposedly there still stands a program where if you go be a teacher or join the military or something like that, that your student debt would be forgiven. I don't know. Can anybody correct me on that? Hello, Jen. How you doing? Thank you. And can I get a thumbs up from everybody? I'm this speech is going to go on and on and on, and I'll probably cover everybody sitting in the chat and watching this, because I'm going to go into other stuff, because that's what I do. I lead. I went to law school, so I lead people by the nose with my speeches so that everybody will be included eventually. So now it comes to light that the reason they were asking for forgiveness for student debts during the Obama administration, during his presidency, is because people were graduating and they weren't making any money. And even the CNN and MSNBC and all those people and CNBC, which is a financial channel, were saying for all of the people who were being fired during that time, the people who were not being fired were all of the professional people. So all of the people who had college degrees and a job, they were untouched because those jobs didn't go away. Those jobs were fine. Those jobs were safe. It was the blue collar jobs that were disappearing. It was the lower income jobs, lower skill to no skill jobs, those were disappearing during the Obama presidency. So the people who were really asking for student loan forgiveness or student debt forgiveness were people who had college degrees and could not get a job. So they weren't making much of any money and they could not even afford to be paying off their student debt because they didn't make any money. They got a degree in architecture, which there's literally 1,000 to 1 applicants for the architectural position. Or psychology, where same thing. They couldn't find a job because they have an undergraduate psychology degree. Or marketing. There's a billion people with a marketing degree, and they could not find a job. And on and on and on and on. All of the degrees that people actually were actually useful, not as useful as a math degree, but stuff like a marketing degree, it's actually useful, and there are actually positions for it. But there's too many people getting that degree. And they're still trying to make sure that more and more people go to universities. I'm not going to talk about that. But the other side of that coin are people who get degrees where there is no market for it. Did anybody answer the question? Of course not, right? Graham, Graham, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. This is what inspired me to do the whole talking about trade jobs. And Mike Rowe, who did the Dirty Jobs show, he has said, and I read some of his stuff, some of his interviews, and some of the speeches that he gave. He was trying to say that I want to inspire people to get these jobs, and a lot of them make good money. It's not fun, but they make good money. It's not, you don't wear a coat and tie. You don't sit in an air-conditioned office or a heated office, depending on where you live. But you make good money. You actually can pay your bills. And if you plan ahead, you don't have student loans that you have to do. Can you imagine if you had a life where you made, let's say the national average in the United States is about $60,000, right? If you had a trade job where you made $40,000, that's below average. That's below the national average, right? But you don't have student loans to pay off, so you are actually going to be ahead of the college degree holder who only makes $60,000 a year. And if you've been listening to this speech the whole time, you'll know that there are quite a few of degrees from college for undergraduate degrees that only pay $60,000 all the way to $0. That the degree actually pays $0. That nobody wants to hire you for with that degree. And it's not a skill based degree. The whole point of college is to move you not from just skilled, but into an elevated skill, an intellectual skill that takes a lot of training and coursework and learning. And that's the whole point of university. It makes no sense to go to university to not learn something that you can't use. Did I say that correctly? Was that grammatically correct? To learn something that does not teach you any sort of skill, no intellectual skill or anything, nothing. But you went to college all 4 years or 5 years, depending on the coursework, and you come out and there's no market for your thing. Um, a U.S. airplane mechanic. There was some thing talking about airplane mechanic. I saw a commercial for it. I think a commercial for should I eat another banana? You know what I should do is drink water, right? I'm supposed to drink like 4 of these today. I don't think 16 ounces. I don't think 4 of these in a day. Now, is everybody here from the United States? Any foreigners here? Any foreigners in my chat room? Canada. Hello, Canada. Eh? Okay. Boy. Boilermaker on ships? Is that the one that, wait, are ships steam powered? Or is that a submarine? What am I thinking of? Or am I thinking of like 1912? What 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 am I thinking of? Boilermaker? I don't know what I'm thinking of. I know nothing about ships. No more foreigners? All these 23 silent people? The ships run on diesel? They don't run on people paddling? Rowing? Oh, me. Oh, I never did finish this banana. Okay, let me finish this. Because I don't... I think that's my grandmother coming through, Don't waste food. Don't waste food. Right? Fanning the cell. I watched a Popeye episode here on YouTube. Can I turn this on? It's 45 degrees in here. Wasting food is bad, yes. Now, I'm not trying to tell millennial women to be sad or anything like that. I'm just giving facts. And when you go to college, you should really think. And I don't know if they have advisors, right? Don't they have career advisors, career advice? But you should really make really make use of that. Can women do STEM? I don't know what you were trying to say there. Well, yes, they can do STEM. I think women might be dominating chemistry or something like that. Something like that. What there? Something in STEM that they attach to. I think it was chemistry. Can anybody confirm? Drying mushrooms? Oh, I'd love to learn how to do that. Not every mushroom can be dried, right? Can I have a like from all 21 of you, please? Now, like I said, the opposite side of the coin are millennial men. They are they are not outside of STEM. Um, they are, I mean, not to any degree. So a lot of the men that go to college today are inside STEM because they are not encouraged to be in college uh, at all, except for when they step into uh, the science college, college of science. So you have that now. Uh, Smash the like button. Yeah, should I say it like that? Smash the like button. Um, so because of this, millennial men, the financial future of millennial men is actually looking bright. JT Collins, 199. Love your content. Keep it up. Thank you, JT. You are JT Coin. I don't. What was I thinking? I can't read. So the future of millennial men is actually looking bright. They are not going to have the financial burden of being married, nor are they going to have the financial burden of children. So because of that, the financial future of millennial men actually looks better than ever. How that being said, however, there's a big however to this. Um, right, Graham. That's what I was alluding to. But they don't actually join any sort of groups or movements. They have just come to the realization that uh, financially getting married or having children or, or or the both or separately, right? Having children separately or being married and having children is a financial drain. And it is the trend now. I mean, there are even people who just have an entire following of thousands of followers. It is the trend now to retire at the age of 30. True story. So now it's not just uh, a thing for lone wolves or hermits or anything like that. Uh, and a lot of men have done it, but they've started doing it because they have figured out they can eat ramen for this year and uh, not have an air conditioner and not have a car, ride a bicycle, and they can do all of these things that come together, and they can save and save and save and save and save and save, and then boom, retire, no job. 1 year, 2 years, however much, right? And then they can invest in this and that and the other, and poof, you have entire communities of people retiring at the age of 30. Now that takes planning, and you have to be talking about that you are going to come out of college swinging, you know, just hitting those home runs because you're in a field that is going to pay you money. And these people retiring aren't people who were poor, aren't people who were even lower middle class. These people were making money. These people were on Wall Street, and they saved and saved and saved, and then stopped all of that stuff, and moved to the country, have a nice little house with a little bit of land, and grow their own food and stuff like that. And this is happening to millennial men more than any other group. So, when I say retire, I'm not talking about 62, 65, 67. I'm talking about 25-year-olds on up, right? Hermit man, okay. I don't know if I've heard that before. But I know this is a trend in the United States and Canada, I believe. Uh, Now the last one I saw was about couples, and they were saying couples and couples and couples, and this one guy has a following of hundreds of people in real life, and they all sort of moved to a place together, and so they encourage each other to do this and that and the other to retire early. So they're retiring, and they're just now having kids, so they are young. The kids are still young and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, and I just saw an article talking about robots in the sense that robots could be our saving grace. Why? Because the robots will start doing the dirty jobs. The robots will do the unskilled job, and when they say unskilled, they're talking about like sweeping up and cleaning up and stuff like that. That doesn't require much learning, but it does require some sort of physical aspect to it. I saw a guy's Rumba. I don't know if it was all that great. Uh, when I get when my house is dirty, it gets dirty because I have a dog. I don't know if a Rumba can pick that up. So I was looking at that thinking, I'm gonna need a much better robot than that. I'm gonna need something like a one of those. What's the vacuum cleaner? And they had the commercial, and the person was on the roof going like that. uh, yeah. As much. And let me tell you, I uh, used to go out every day, every night. I went to the club every night because I was older. We're talking about 25 years old. This is my thinking. Because I was older, I thought I had missed out when I was 21 to 25, I guess, that I had missed out on being a night person. So at the age of 25, I started going out every night to the bar. And so, anyway, I had been in school, so I didn't miss that much. I went to places in school. So for whatever reason, I thought I had really missed out. So, and I was just broke broke, going to the bar every night, going out to clubs every night, right? Buying, buying, buying clothes all the time, right? So then I said, let me stop doing that. And I would go to the computer lab. I had a computer at home. I would go to the computer lab to hang out with my friends and pay three or $4 an hour. And I would rack up hundreds of dollars in a week in computer lab uh, payments. You paid nightly, but over the course of so I said I paid $1,000 at this place, and my computer isn't even that great. I could have saved up all of that money, and I could have bought me a super nice computer because I was paying for everything at home, internet, computer, the whole 9 yards. Anyway, so one summer I said I'm going to stay here in my house and I'm going to play World of Warcraft. So I stayed in my house and played World of Warcraft straight every day for 3 whole months. I would go to work, come home, play World of Warcraft till my eyes bled. And then I'd crash and start all over again the next morning. Go to work, come home, play World of Warcraft. After 3 months, I had accumulated thousands of dollars because I didn't ever go out. I didn't do anything. I never went out and never did anything. I bought a car. I almost paid cash for the car. That's how much money I saved. I looked at my bank account and I said, "Oh my goodness," because everything was, automatically deposited and stuff like that. So the video game was almost like a lifesaver. It consumed a lot of time, and it was World of Warcraft is an online game, so you don't really win it. You just keep playing and keep playing and keep playing. I even got into a guild and all that sort of stuff. I had the full on experience, and I went and I got my character into semi decent equipment and armor. I even had some one or two pieces that were pretty snazzy for a person working on their own. So I got into a fairly big guild. They could tell that I have been, that I wasn't just a noob, or because you could get to the maximum level and still be a noob in World of Warcraft. Uh, you could get to the maximum level and literally not how to know how to play your character. You you wouldn't know what a fireball does, right? You could do that because the game is so so easy, and they meant it to be user friendly. So I played that for 3 months and then purchased a car. Almost paid cash for it. Looked into my bank account and said, "Why am I walking?" I don't know if anybody of you live in Las Vegas, but there's a commercial here where the guy goes, "Why are you walking when you could be driving?" He has some sort of accent. So that's a big commercial here. So I was like, "Why am I walking? I could be driving." Yeah, World of Warcraft. That's for people really with zero discipline. I mean, zero zero sense of priorities. That they don't have a they didn't know how to prioritize their own life versus a game. Uh, but I had a couple of things, and I had a friend who lived close by, and I had a medical emergency, and my friend called the people for me, which was fantastic. Um, So the online stuff really paid off. I don't have such a thing. I'm trying to raise funds. So if you want to donate, go to paypal.me/Shakaama. I'm trying to raise fund to get a computer. I am on a cell phone, and I'm looking at the other cell phone to look at the chat. So I don't have a computer. And this is the weekend of a computer fundraiser. I'm trying to go all night in doing this. Uh, do any of y'all see? And let me check myself. Oh, I do. Okay. Uh, did any of y'all see a advertisement when you came in? Now, do y'all want me to talk about any financial education? I used to do great stuff. I let people affect me too much. My mother texted me the other day, and I said, I got so nervous when the nurse called me, and she said, "Do not let people control you." And I was like, "Isn't that ironic that you, of all people, would say that?" She will drive all the way across town to come get me to go check out a property for her, which is pretty funny. I want to learn better money wise. Uh, so let's talk about something easy that everybody can do, and that is save money. Now, well, they interviewed this guy who has a whole blog about retiring at 30. Uh, he one of the people came in. It was a black lady, and she said, "I don't make enough money to save money." And he said, a lot of people come to me and say that they don't make enough money to save money, that they cannot save money. And he said, of course, it's not my position that I have to, grab them and say, look, when I say save money, I mean save money. Have y'all seen that show, Penny Pinchers? Something like that? I think it's like Penny Pinchers or something like that. Uh, nice one, Graham. um, well, X Facts, I had identity theft, and they kept doing it over and over and over and over, over and over and over, and stealing from me and the police reports and all that sort of stuff. And so, literally, I last year uh, went through like $20,000. If you must know, I and people take advantage of me quite a bit in real life. Because I'm nice and I think that I have to do stuff nice to people, they take it, and they don't just take a little bit of advantage, they go all the way, right? Between, when it rains, it pours, and for my life, it's a whole tsunami. It's just everything. I wake up and then the people say, well, apparently you have 15 credit cards from us, and I go, no, I don't. Yes, you do. Here we have your signature and everything. I've never heard of you. Uh, and this was right around the time that I was nearing 850. Is that the max? Nearing the max credit score. And then from all of that, went down to 400. There you go. It was absolutely terrible. Yes, and so and my credit card company kept issuing me credit card, kept issuing me a credit card. I said, it's been compromised. Can you take the social security number off? No, we can't do that. I said, then what are you going to do? It doesn't make sense. Take that off. That is not secure. Once they have the number, there is zero stopping them from doing this over and over and over. And I could not convince the company to do anything else. Something about that by law they have to do that. Yeah, it is slow going. Anyway, let's talk about saving. So I think what that guy, the guru, and I call him a guru because he had thousands of people following him and retiring at 30. He had a whole town of people that all moved there and retired at 30. And so they had a little posh life. They weren't hurting for money. But this so the I think he wanted to tell the the black lady that when she says she can't save money, she's not being serious, and a lot of people are not serious. Have you seen that TV show Penny Pinchers? Let me see. Did you anybody answer? No. Have y'all seen that show? Alicia, I'm doing a whole weekend of live stream. Have you seen that show Penny Pinchers? Can I get thumbs up from people? Can y'all smash the like button? Have y'all seen that show Penny Pinchers? And the people will do stuff like reuse tinfoil. They don't have plates. They don't buy napkins. They use cloth sanitary wipes for toilet paper. They do not purchase toilet paper, and then they wash the cloth over and over and over. So you can imagine, and I believe they soak them and then wash them by hand or something like that. Or they don't live in a house; they live in a garage, and that's where they actually work. And so, penny pinchers, meaning they reduce all of their expenses to the bare minimum. And the premise of the show is these are people who are not doing the bare minimum. They're going a step beyond the bare minimum to really pinch pennies. Uh, I have two flags. I have this flag and this flag. Uh, so, the penny pinchers have they've kicked it up a notch. Well, we're not even talking about being a penny pincher. We're talking about there are people out there who still buy coffee at Starbucks, who still buy cookies, who go out and buy ice cream, who go out and splurge on pizza. So they splurge on stuff and complain they don't have money. They hop in their car to go around the corner. So they're spending all of the gas and the maintenance on the car to ride around the corner. And I mean literally around the corner. I know people who get in their car to go through their mailbox at the front of their, but then complain they can't save money. When I was in college, I didn't have money. I existed on ramen noodles and water. I never complained about being hungry because I wasn't hungry. I ate fine. I just existed on ramen noodles and water, which was terrible for me, but financially speaking, I was fine. Right? Now, if the people are serious about in, invest, a lot of times people are talking to me about investing, and I say, well, okay, first you got to save money. You got to save like $10,000. Let's be serious. You got to save $10,000, if not $100,000. But we can deal with $10,000 because a lot of companies, a lot of brokers will insist that you have $10,000 in your account with them. And the people say, I can't save $10,000. Okay, well, if you tell me that you can't save $10,000 and you tell me that you want to be an investor, that means you don't want to be an investor, right? That's how that works. So they said, well, just tell me anyway. No, the first step is you have to save. Saving is investing. Accumulating funds is a skill all by itself, and so you can't be doing stuff that right. If you get the really cheap noodles that are like, what is it, like a penny a package, and you buy a whole case of them at a time at what, like $2 or something ridiculous. Uh, Saving money is a skill all by itself. So for the financial world, a lot of the brokers want to see that you can save money so that they have trust in you because they're trusting you with an account with them. Because after a while, you will be able to buy stocks on margin. What does margin mean? Margin means that you are taking out loans to buy stocks. And that margin is leverage. That margin could be 1 to 1. So instead of $10 in stocks, you could buy $20 in stock. That's 1 to 1, right? So you can spend a little bit more. You can get that margin up to 100 to 1. So when they say they want to see that you can save money, um, that's a reality that will later on pay off because they will be able to trust that you can. Uh, I had this hat on the whole time. I must be dreaming. That's weird. Okay. What's going on? Say the saving money. A lot of people don't understand the saving money part. They say, "Why would I need to save money?" It's you're building up credibility with the brokerage firm because you can only buy stocks through a broker. You can't buy stocks on your own unless you spend $1 million and get a badge and go to the New York Stock Exchange floor yourself. And even then, I don't believe you can buy it yourself. You're still buying it through a broker. It's just that you can see it firsthand. And even though you can see it firsthand, you're still not as fast as some of the brokerage firms who have computers in the stock exchange itself, right at the pipeline. It's all fun and games. I'm gonna say stuff like that, right? Uh, so, saving money is the first step, and I'm gonna recommend $10,000. You can do $500. There are brokerage firms that allow you to have an account with $500, but I'm not going to get into that. I want to tell you what the real deal is. Now, have I ever traded stocks? Yes, I used to trade stocks. I used to look at commodities, and I made $10,000 in 2 seconds. That was my best trade ever, and I'm very proud of it. And a lot of firms, if you're going to go into the financial world, will ask you, do you actually trade stocks? And you should always be able to say, yes, I have traded stocks. Now, let me tell you, why am I not trading stocks right now? Because trading stocks requires, I don't know if you all know this, but I have high blood pressure, right? Why do I have high blood pressure? Because I worry all the time. I'm always worried about something. To be able to trade stocks, you have to have ice flowing through your veins. If you don't have that particular skill, I would not recommend trading stocks. Um, right. So, me trading stocks, while I did very well trading the stocks, uh, I knew when it was my time to bow out and say thanks, but no thanks. I'm just gonna go over here and bite my nails off. I can be nervous all by myself. I don't need money riding on the line. Is nobody talking? What happened? Did everybody leave? Okay, let me stand up and walk around a little bit. You all are supposed to tell me to do that because it is proper for OSHA guidelines that people sitting at desks should stand up and stretch. Somewhere I have a dog. How you doing over there, buddy? You doing good? Do you feel warm? Are you feeling the warmth? Oh. Oh, me. Okay. Okay. Oh, me. My feet are freezing. Oh. So I was gonna do like a whole cooking thing leading up to the holidays, but then I went to the hospital. And that took a lot out of me. It is 12:26 a.m. I am in sunny Las Vegas. Well, it's not sunny now, but you get the drift. Let's see my... this winter has not been as dry as previous winters, or maybe it's just getting started. And when it goes, one winter here, it was so dry, my lips were cracked and what have you. Make sure you don't curse in the chat. Have I been working? Have I been working? What do you mean working? I'm a YouTuber. That's what I do. Let's see if it works here. Oh. So my physical therapist, not Monday. Was it Monday? No, I should have saved that. Um, my physical therapist, they said we're okay. I'm gonna work on abs. So so he had me work on that, and I was in a pool. So in the pool, I did not feel like I was working out. But come the next day, I was done for. I had not been that sore in a while, which was fantastic. I need to. And they kept saying the abs are the abs are the weakest part of the body because there is no structure in that entire section. So your abs and your back. So then people complain about lower back pain because the abs go weak, and so then the the lower back is overworked to keep um, everything running smoothly in the back, as it was explained to me. So he was going to work out my abs. So he certainly did. What I should do is do all of that stuff myself. I know what to do. YouTubers have 2 or more jobs? Does that website pay anything? There have been other companies that tried to work with YouTubers, and they have like all gone out of business. And we're not talking about small YouTubers. They were working with the giant YouTubers. And I believe probably what happened was Google stepped in and said, you can't take, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, okay, am I done talking about saving money? Everybody understands saving, and if you want to be an investor that with the stock market, you understand what saving money does, and you understand that uh, your your excuse that you can't save money uh, tells me that you are not serious about saving money, and that you can always save money if you really give it the college try. What I mean by that is, like, I think this is generic something. I don't know what that is. Mashed potatoes. So, Okay. Does it tie into YouTube? Can people? Am I linking to YouTube and I get views to YouTube? I don't know what you're talking about. I'll look into it. I don't know why people try to talk about it. This keeps going out. Okay, so saving money. Is everybody clear on saving money? And that saying that you can't save money because you only make $20,000 a year is not a proper excuse, because you probably are spending half of that in coffee and pizza and hot pockets. Hot pockets. Y'all ever watch that comedian? Okay, can we? YouTube is actually cutting off your comments, so let's talk about something else. This is something you would message me with. You don't talk about it in chat. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, so we're gonna cut off this session. It went 1 and 22. So I'll be back in about 15, 20 minutes. All right, so everybody stand up, do some stretching, and yeah.